What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hot Take Tuesday. It's season 3 still, episode 4. It's been a little while, but we're here. We're back. I missed doing that. I'm excited to be back. 4 hot takes from the Discord server today. If you like your hot takes featured in future videos, your takes, it's kind of like a mini shout out. I get to talk about a topic that you want me to talk about. It's a win-win for you. I get content out of it. I get you involved. I get the fans involved, by the fans, for the fans. I'm glad to be back, man. I'm excited. So let's not waste too much more of your time. We're going to get right into it. The first hot take is from Red the Rat, a.k.a. Red. Used to be Red the Rat. But his take is, AD Mitchell breaks out under Reggie Wayne's coaching for 800-plus yards and 8 TDs. So look, I love AD Mitchell. I love Adonai Mitchell. A lot of people last year weren't too happy with his play, and I get it. You know, he didn't catch the ball well, a lot of missed opportunities in terms of just dropping the football, not, in ball security. It's just as simple as that. But let me tell you something. I cannot tell you the amount of times he was so open. And yeah, there's going to be times where it's like, we don't care how open you get. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, that's awesome. But if you can't catch the ball, that's kind of all for naught if you can't catch the football if you're wide open. If you can't catch the football at all, it's just kind of all for naught at that point. But AD Mitchell, he has a ton of upside. He knows how to separate like a mofo. Just going to say it like that. Dude knows how to separate. Unfortunately, last year, quarterback play wasn't really too good. Hopefully this year with Daniel Jones when he's starting, because if Anthony Richardson is starting, AD Mitchell is not going for 800-plus yards and 8+ TDs. I don't know if maybe Alec Pierce or Pittman. I can see one of those three going for 1,000+, but considering the competition is tough, and if it's Anthony Richardson especially, I mean, whether it's Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, I think this is a hot take. Maybe not because he's not capable of it. I absolutely think he's capable of this. The issue is there's so much competition. There's so many mouth defeats in this offense now. It's very difficult to see the fourth receiver in the team getting that kind of yardage, getting that kind of production. And like I said, I'm not saying he's not capable, but you have guys like Pittman, Downs, and Pierce who are all ahead of him right now on the depth chart. And I think Mitchell can be a guy that can elevate, and you may want your top 3 to be Pierce, Downs, and Mitchell. Don't get me wrong, Pittman's awesome, but the times Pittman has had an opportunity to go out there and be wide receiver number 1, he hasn't been able to do it. He hasn't really seized it. He's been inconsistent. You could also blame on that quarterback play, yeah, but I mean, you look at all the receivers, some number 1 receivers. Some of them are able to defy the quarterback odds. Not all of them, but I think Pittman is a very good receiver. Is he a bona fide number 1? No. Maybe he's a very, very low end number 1, a high as he can get number 2. The issue is he's very inconsistent. Yeah, he's gotten better against separation. Maybe it's quarterback play. Quarterback play can have a lot to do with it. Maybe if you give Pittman a solid quarterback that can throw the football on time, has some arm power left, they can throw it to him. We haven't had a quarterback that can do all 3 of those things in quite some time. Arkin has an arm power to push it down the field and give Pittman the big contested catch opportunities. We haven't really had a quarterback that can get it to him in stride. Carson Wentz did that inconsistently. Rivers didn't really have too much of an arm. That was Pittman's rookie season. Matt Ryan that year was just a joke in general. And then Minshew, I mean, he's a backup type of quarterback. He hasn't had the opportunity with the quarterback, but at the end of the day, you can't blame the quarterback for all of it. I mean, from what we've seen, I'm saying Pittman is an okay number 1. I'm not saying he's top of the line. I don't even know if he's number one receiver caliber. I think Downs is more number 1 receiver caliber than Pittman, if you ask me. I'm going to be honest with you. And some people are going to say, oh, he's just a slot guy, this and that. I don't care. Go look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. Go look at Cooper Kupp. Shut up about just he's just a slot guy. I don't care. I don't care if you just play in the slot. Downs can play in the outside too. He's done it plenty. And he's great at both. He just specializes in the slot, and he is nasty in the slot. Just because he's slot receiver doesn't mean he is wide receiver 1 capable. Doesn't mean he is wide receiver 1 material. I can't stand that argument. If you could play, you could play. That's the bottom line. And at a high level, at that, it's the bottom line. But AD Mitchell going for 800 plus, 8 TDs. I mean, quarterback play might be an issue. If Daniel Jones starts, I mean, it's more likely. But even then, I don't really care how good the quarterback is at this point. You have Tyler Warren. You have, if Jelani Woods can stay healthy, you have 2 tight ends that are just, and that's the luck of the Colts. Figures couldn't get Jelani Woods to stay healthy for the life for anything. But now we draft that tight end in the first, have high hopes. Jelani Woods will stay healthy, but heck, that's a nasty tight end 1, tight end 2 combo if Jelani could stay healthy and maybe if he has developed, or we'll see what he can do. You have Molly Cox. Not going to get a lot of receiving targets. That's not a good example. But there's a lot of mouth to feed. You have Pittman, Pierce, Downs, Tyler Warren, possibly Jelani Woods, Jonathan Taylor you have to run the ball to, get him the ball out of the backfield. I mean, you have Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones who could both run the football, so that takes some snaps away. There are too many mouths to feed on this offense to say that AD Mitchell is going to do this. There's a difference in being able to and going to. Just like, I kind of say there's a difference in, knowing what you have to do to beat a team and being able to do it. There's a huge difference. AD Mitchell is very capable of such numbers, but with all the mouths to feed in this offense, with the possible bad quarterback play, I'm going to say it's hot. I'm going to say this is a hot take, but it's a good one. I like it. I like AD Mitchell. I think he has a bright future. I think after Alec Pierce leaves, because I think Pierce is going to have another really impressive year. He, breakout year last year. I think he's only going to get better. So then I think the Colts are going to let him go, considering you have AD Mitchell. You're already paying Pittman a ton of money, and I don't even know if he's worth paying that much. I mean, he's a damn good receiver, but is he $20 million a year worth? I don't know, but point is, you're already paying him $20 million. Josh Downs, I'd rather keep Josh Downs and Alec Pierce possibly. But I mean, if you give Pierce some consistent good quarterback play, maybe he could be insane. And he can be. We've seen it. So maybe it's worth signing Pierce, re-signing Alec Pierce, and trading Pittman. Then you have Downs and AD Mitchell. That sounds like a heck of a lot more appetizing or fun receiver room and a much more deadly receiving room than, the latter. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I like Pittman. He's a phenomenal contested catch receiver, but I feel like he's too inconsistent, and I feel like, he kind of disappears at times. You could blame the quarterback play, but look at Pierce balling out. Look at Downs balling out, regardless of the quarterback play. So it's not really an excuse, as I was talking about earlier. So what do you do here? What do you do there? But, after next year, someone's got to leave. Something's got to give. That's when AD Mitchell, I think, is going to ball out if he doesn't ball out this year due to an injury or something like that. We have depth. Someone gets injured, yeah, this is definitely possible 100%, but I don't know. I don't think anyone gets injured, not counting on that. But you never know. Maybe someone could get injured and AD Mitchell pops off, and we're looking pretty good. And we got 4 really good receivers. I think we do have 4 really good receivers, which we've struggled to get more than 1 decent receiver. So now we have Downs, Pierce, Pittman, AD Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell. I think our receiver room is nasty, honestly. Not just saying because I'm a Colts fan. I mean, if you've watched me the past couple of years, you've known I've not been a fan of the Colts. I've been a fan technically, but I have not been happy with the way they played. I've been honest. I've been upfront. A lot of you guys haven't liked that. But that's how I am. That's who I am. I'm going to tell you what I see. I'm calling how I see it. But I'm going hot with that one. Thank you, Red. Next up is from LCCJS27. The Chiefs don't make it past the second round of the playoffs. So, regardless, they get the bye week, they get the first seed or not, let me tell you this. The Chiefs have a serious problem on their hands, and it's in their own division. It's the Denver Broncos. Now, look, I think the Chargers could be really good. I think they're going to be solid as well. But if you look at the team over in Denver, you go look at that roster. You go talk about them for a couple minutes. You do a little bit of looking into them. Bo Nix, Marion Hampton, the firepower they have on offense, the defense is incredible. They'll get the pressure on you all day long. Good tacklers. They fly to the football, and I mean, this is a team that can really be dangerous. That can really be a sleeper to win the AFC West. I think the Broncos can win the AFC West over the Chiefs, but the Broncos will need to play on their A game all year long, as the Chiefs will too. But if the Chiefs mess around like they did last year, better be careful. The Broncos are sitting right there, and they are ready. They are hungry. This is a great football team led by a great quarterback, a great head coach. This Denver Broncos team is no joke and no team to scoff at. So the Chiefs better button up. They better be ready. But the Chiefs don't make it past the second round. I think it's possible. I mean, you look at the competition in the AFC, like I said. The Broncos are in their own division as competition. The Chargers are getting better. The Raiders are, they're not really there. But you look at the Ravens, they compete every year. The Bengals are a dangerous team when Joe Burrow and they're fully healthy and their defense is playing okay. Which their defense might actually be worse this year somehow. And then you have the Bills. And I think the Patriots are a wild card team as well that can play spoiler if they get in. There is so much competition that it is possible the Chiefs don't make it past the second round. It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Andy Reid, and they've only gotten better. They drafted Josh Simmons, who is probably the best left tackle in the class. It's going to be tough for me to sit here and say that they won't make it past the second round. I can't say no if they've done it for so many consecutive years now. I can't, I'm going to say it's hot to say they don't make it. I'm going to say that it's hot. It's unlikely that they don't go to the conference championship. You know what I mean? They've proven too much to say no at this point. But of course you have Josh Allen, you have all these other teams who are hungry and they want some spotlight too. So maybe there's a team this year that goes ahead and knocks them off. It could be a team that they're not really suspecting, but maybe even the Texans. CJ Stroud, I mean, their offense line isn't too great, but they put up a fight last year in the playoffs, and the Texans, in the regular season weren't looking too hot. Come to the postseason, they looked great. They were awesome, but they kind of play possum towards that end of the season when they know they're in. They know they're pretty much in. But I'm going to go hot. Because there's a good chance to make it to the conference championship. You can't dethrone them and, if they're still sitting at that throne. You know what I mean? Of the AFC at least. They did lose the Super Bowl, so not throne the NFL, but you know what I mean. But Chiefs not making it past the second round, it's just hot, man. I'm not going to go piping hot because the competition is there, and it's realistic that they don't. But at the same time, like I said, they've done it too many times in a row, and there's no reason for me to sit here and think, hey, they're not going to get to the second round. I'm not going to go piping hot. I'm going hot with this one. All right, thank you, LCCJS27. Let's move on. Head of the table. Shedeur Sanders will look good in preseason, but play no snaps in the regular season. Of course, a big draft slide, this, that. To be honest with you, I'm tired of the bullshit. Tired of the same old bullcrap. Everyone's talking about Shedeur Sanders when we should probably be talking about the better quarterback in that room, the better rookie quarterback in that room, Dillon Gabriel. Love Dillon Gabriel. Very good quarterback. A lot of good tangibles. He's got a lot of good attributes to him. And I think they're better than Shedeur Sanders. But if you look at this quarterback room in general, I mean, I think it's pretty. I think it's a hot take. Hot, not piping. I think this is another hot take, saying that, or I might even go piping hot, because when you look at a quarterback room like the Browns, whenever you look at any quarterback room in the NFL that just has a lot of question marks, say it's like say last year Colts, perfect example. You have Anthony Richardson, Or, let's go back a couple years. You had Matt Ryan, you had Nick Foles. Or even go back a couple more years, you had Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston. If one isn't working out, you're eventually going to go to the other one. So, with the Browns having 4 quarterbacks, 5, but Deshaun Watson not going to play. He's injured. What else is new? If none of them work out quickly, the Browns are one of those franchises. They're poverty. They're gonna move. They're gonna move quickly. I think Dylan Gabriel might be their last option, which will be for a good reason. The best for last, but it'll probably be Kenny Pickett, and then I don't remember who the heck else they signed. I think it was Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco. You have Dylan Gabriel. You have Shedeur Sanders, and you're telling me that Shedeur Sanders isn't going to take 1 snap? I think he'll take 1 snap. I get it. I don't think he should. He should either. I don't think he's an NFL starter caliber quarterback. He holds the ball too long. There's some things about his game that just aren't screaming to you. Like, yeah, he's an NFL quarterback. Yeah, he's gonna be great. Yeah, he's gonna be good. He's got some good traits. But there are plenty there that make you question his ability. But saying Shedeur Sanders won't play a snap, this is a tough one to gauge. But just looking at the prospect, the nature of the prospect, how highly valued he was, how highly valued we thought he was, I find it difficult that he won't play at least 1 snap. But I get where you're coming from head of the table because I've thought about this too. There's a chance that he doesn't because of how many quarterbacks are in there. But at the same time, it's like there's going to be a time where these quarterbacks where they just keep trying a new quarterback. Just like, if the team has 2 good quarterbacks or even, heck, 3, sometimes you turn to the third one saying, heck, what else do we have to lose? Maybe that's what will happen. Maybe we'll test them out in the second half of the season when they're already out of the playoffs and eliminated from contention. Maybe they'll put him in then and see how he plays then when it's already over. I would like Dylan Gabriel to get a shot too. I would actually maybe rather see Dylan Gabriel go someplace else so he really has a shot and a chance. Yeah, he's got a shot and a chance in Cleveland, but go to a franchise that actually knows how to take care of talent and develop talent and get the best out of them. Because I don't think the Browns are that team. But I like Gabriel. Not a fan of Shedeur. But the chances that Shedeur will not play a snap in the regular season, I'm going to go hot. No, I'll go warm. I'll say it's a little bit unlikely, but the possibility is there that he doesn't take a snap. It really is. But him playing good in preseason, I could see that. That's like, I'm not going to say flag football. I'm not going to say backyard football, but those are simple vanilla coverages that teams are calling, just trying to get a feel for what players can do, giving them some time on the field, giving them some film to watch in live action. So I can see him playing good in preseason. So maybe that does earn him some snaps in regular season. So it's tough if he plays good in the preseason, but he doesn't play any snap. I mean, you look at some other quarterbacks in the past, they've killed it in preseason, just haven't seen the field in regular season because teams know just, hey, this preseason just isn't the same as the regular season. It's just not. So I'm going to go warm. On this one. Last but not least, from SIlverSabs, Giants finished with 45 plus sacks. I would say this is very, very possible looking at the Giants' defensive line. I mean, you look at the edge rushers, you look at some of the linebackers, the Giants played that defense where you kind of have guys come down from linebacker and all that, rushing and hybrids and all that good stuff. I know that the Giants aren't too thrilled with Kayvon Thibodeau right now from a couple people I've talked to, some things that I know and kind of uncovered. The Giants aren't too thrilled with Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he is a trade candidate this year. I'm not sure if he will be traded, but I can absolutely see him being in the talks. I can see a world where Kayvon Thibodeau is traded this season. Before the regular season, possibly. Before the trade deadline, I think that goes up exponentially. But you look at the room. I mean, Brian Burns, he's only 27. He's in the prime of his career, one of the better premier edge rushers in the league. He gets pressure like no other. Abdul Carter, twitchy. I mean, he's going to be tough to stop off the edge. Although there are a couple of things to know about his game. When he got into the playoffs, seemed like he didn't do too much his first game. Kind of injured the shoulder against Boise State. Was kind of non-existent versus Notre Dame. But then again, you know, how much of it was a shoulder injury bothering him? He probably wasn't 100%. But you go back to the Oregon game, really struggled to do anything in that Oregon game at all. So now he's coming to the NFL at some of the best athletes all around. I think Abdul Carter can struggle the first little bit of the season. Like, he's going to rely on his twitchiness, his athleticism, and he's smart. I'm not saying he's not smart. He's got a lot of football prowess. He's smart, very intelligent, but I'm not too sure if Abdul Carter is going to shine right away in the first couple of games. It may take him a couple games. It may take him a half a season before Abdul Carter really starts coming into his own. It may take a full season. And sometimes it does. It doesn't matter if it's a top 5 pick. Sometimes it takes a good season for players to adjust, and the next season they come in firing, and boom, they break out. So, and I do expect Abdul Carter to have a long, fantastic career in New York. But the first year might not be as impressive, especially when you look at the schedule. That is very important to look at, and that is why I'm going to say that this won't happen year one. Like I said, they have Kayvon, they have Abdul Carter, they have Brian Burns, they have Dexter Lawrence. Now, when you're sitting back just rattling these names off, you're like, yeah, 45 sacks is no doubt, no question. But Kayvon, he's been inconsistent. He hasn't put it all together yet. Like I said, you know, he is a trade candidate. I could see him getting traded this year, but, you know, before the season or even before trade deadline, around trade deadline time, I could see Kayvon Thibodeau having a new home. So, looking at the schedule, that's the next on the agenda of things to talk about when we're going through this topic. The Giants' schedule is the hardest schedule in the 2025 NFL season. In the National Football League, the Giants have the most difficult schedule. You look at let's just take a peek, and a lot of these teams have really strong offensive lines on top of that. Yep. Or if they don't have a strong offensive line, they have a quarterback that is so difficult to bring down that may be difficult to up that sack total to 45 plus. They play the Commanders twice. They're playing Jaden Daniels 2 times. Commanders' offense line has gotten better. They made a couple additions. It's not great. It's better than what it was. And on top of that, Jaden Daniels can run around. So it's not going to be easy to get sacks on Jaden Daniels, but the Giants do have athletic pass rushers that will make it that much more difficult for Jaden Daniels to escape, but Daniels will escape. He will find ways. He's a mobile quarterback. They always, they find ways to escape and elude pressure, elude sacks. So he will elude quite a few. But with Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, if Thibodeau's on the Giants, like I said, I can see Thibodeau being somewhere else in the beginning of the season. I could definitely see him somewhere else. Trade deadline season. Giants aren't too thrilled with him right now. Just what I'm hearing. Then you have the Cowboys. You play the Cowboys 2 times. I mean, Dak Prescott, he's getting older. Can't move like he could, especially with injuries. But if Joe Milton's playing, Joe Milton's going to be a tough dude to bring down. I don't see Joe Milton playing at the beginning of the season. Maybe he's playing towards the end of the season when Dak Prescott's hurt, if he is hurt. Or maybe Prescott just isn't playing good. And they say, hey, okay, we're putting Milton in. Do you imagine a world where we come out of training camp and Dak Prescott is not the starter anymore? Joe Milton wins the job. Now, Dak Prescott is making so much money to the point where, yeah, that's not going to happen, but you just imagine a world where that happens. Crazy. Love Joe Milton. He's a future in Dallas. Chiefs and the Giants. We all know how difficult it is to bring down Patrick Mahomes. We did see in the Super Bowl, what happens when you just rush 4, as the Eagles did. And you saw how many times they got to Mahomes. But we're back in the regular season, back in the beginning of the year. Chiefs offensive line made a couple additions. Josh Simmons is a phenomenal addition. It's going to be tough to bring down Mahomes. They move on to the Chargers. Chargers have a really good offensive line, a quarterback that can move. Once again, difficult quarterback to bring down. So the first 4 games, the first 2 games, seems like, okay, those are candidates for 5+ sack games, but probably not going to happen. I can see 20 sacks alone, maybe 30 sacks alone, coming from 2 of the Commanders games, 2 of the Cowboys games, the Bears, and the Raiders game. The rest of the games, though, they're so strong. Or maybe the Saints, too. You throw the Saints in there. The Saints game, the Saints, they'll probably be able to get after the quarterback pretty often, even though the Saints do have some good offensive linemen. It's not as bad as you think it may be. But then you look at the Eagles. They play the Eagles twice a year. One of the best offensive lines in the league. Going to be tough to get home. Jalen Hurts, he's elusive. Broncos, Bo Nix, he's elusive. Offensive line, solid. Niners, this can be a game where they get quite a few sacks. Because the Niners, their offensive line isn't great. I don't really think they did enough to make it better. But their playing calling, their game plan is so strong. Kind of like that could be the same thing. That could be the same case for the Broncos, even the Commanders, even the Cowboys. Heck, their game plans can be so strong that it could kind of offset the offensive line play or just whatever it may be. Then you have the Bears. This is a 10-sack game candidate. This game is a 10+ sack game. Caleb Williams isn't it. Not very good. He's not the future. This may be the last year we see Caleb in Chicago. Holds the ball way too long. Too emotional. Not really a leader. So I can see this being a 10+ sack game alone. Packers, Jordan Love, offensive line is solid. Love and game planning is so strong. It kind of offset even if the offensive line is having an off day. Lions, going to be tough to get home against the Lions. Their offensive line is wicked. Patriots, maybe able to get home here, but once again, the game plan is going to be so strong because Mike Vrabel, he's a mastermind. He was great. He is awesome at drawing plays up, at game planning. So that can offset that. Commanders, you play the Commanders again. We talked about that already. Vikings and Giants, Vikings have such a strong offensive line. Once again, it's going to be tough. Raiders, their offensive line isn't great. Should be able to get home plenty of times. And the Cowboys again. So, maybe it's possible. Maybe they can really skew the data and skew the number when they play the Bears, play the Raiders, play the Commanders twice. If you get home and take down Jaden Daniels. The Cowboys, you get back there, take him down a couple times. If you could even find a way to take down Brock Purdy a couple times. If you find a way to play some strong defense so Purdy is forced to hold onto the ball and get quite a few sacks in that game. It's possible. The more I'm thinking about it, it's possible. They have a ton of talent on the line. It's quite impressive how much talent they do have in the defensive line. They also have a really tough schedule. A lot of really good offensive lines. A lot of teams and coaches that know how to game plan and kind of not 100% offset it, but definitely offset it, and limit that edge rush. They know how to game plan against it. And we'll see. Can Brian Burns stay healthy? Can all these guys stay healthy on the defense line? If one guy goes down, especially like Dexter Lawrence, I don't know. It's going to be that much more difficult to reach that 4 or 5+ sack mark. I'm going to go warm because of how many bad bad offense lines around here. I mean, like I said, I could even see them sacking Caleb Williams 12 times. I think any team is capable of sacking Caleb Williams 5+ times. That's how poor. I mean, I'm not saying that the Bears' offensive line is completely useless. It's not very good. But Caleb Williams, he holds the ball for way too long. He's a problem. I do see Ben Johnson. You know, we were talking about how, the game plan and that could kind of make a difference. But, Ben Johnson's only going to be able to help Caleb Williams so much. Like I said, Williams is not it. He's not the future. He's not very good. He's not going to be very good. So, we'll see. But I'm going to go warm. Because the chance is there. It's possible. But it's definitely unlikely. Considering all the good teams that they're playing. We'll see. But this is going to be it for Hot Take Tuesday. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to Hot Take Tuesday. Hot Take Tuesday. I think this is episode 4 of season 3. I went through and I counted the episodes. I think I only did 3 episodes during the season. It's pretty bad. But we're back. Bottom line is we're back. Do you smell it? We're cooking. I gotta come up with their own version of that, of the Rocks version. Do you smell what Hot Take Tuesday is burning? I don't know. No, that's stupid. But all right, guys, appreciate you guys for watching. We'll get back to the giveaways soon here, hopefully too. I'll do that when I'm able to. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Can't say JDW Sports Talk Show. I hope I didn't introduce it as a JDW Sports Talk Show in the beginning. But this is Hot Take Tuesday, brought to you by the JDW Sports Network. This is Jason. I had a good time talking football with you, and I'll catch you guys next time.